What's going on? Welcome to today's weather outlook for Monday, May 1st, 2023. Hope everyone is having a great day. Hopefully the weather is treating you well. It's been windy and very stormy up here in the Northeast. We ended up having a weekend total here where I live in Philly. We ended up having a weekend total over 3 inches at my house. So that was very impressive. And this low pressure system, which did pass over me, is now working its way into the Great Lakes, and it continues to spin. And unfortunately, this system, which is becoming upper level, is going to be a system that the Northeast is going to have to deal with through at least Wednesday into Thursday, maybe even Friday before it finally exits the picture. We have an upper level system that is ongoing out in the West Coast, which is causing some stormy weather, especially in the mountains, and I'll show you that on radar. You can see here we have some showers that are ongoing in the mountains, and we have this spin over the Great Lakes. That's the low pressure system. It's actually going to even provide some snow showers for western Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley. Yes, it's a really cold core system for May standards. Let's take a look at the national hazards. You can see not a lot going on here. We still do have some flooding concerns that are ongoing up in Maine because they had such heavy rainfall. We do have some wind advisories that are up in a few places in the southeast, even here in Iowa, and then back in the west there's some wind advisories as well. And you can see, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. These are winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories that are up for portions of the Great Lakes, and even in West Virginia, where some of those snow showers could accumulate in the mountains, and a few inches of snow are possible. Moving on to the Storm Prediction Center, just a marginal risk of severe weather across portions of Nevada and Oregon today. You have to go to Thursday till you see the next slight risk day, and there's also a marginal risk tomorrow portions of Texas, and I'm not really too impressed with that at this time. Then we go to day 4 through 8, and here's the fourth day, which that would be later in this week. And as you can see, Texas through Oklahoma, there is a 15% chance of severe weather for Thursday. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center, there is no threat of excessive rainfall for today, none for tomorrow, and none for day 3 either, so that's good. Finally seeing some quieter weather in that retrospect. And taking a look here at the NAM model, look at this system that's going to be over the Great Lakes. Look at that. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Michigan, even portions of Wisconsin, those are snow showers. Pennsylvania, Ohio, those are snow showers. Watch what happens as we get into tomorrow night into Wednesday. Yes, widespread snow showers across western Pennsylvania, even the I-80 corridor. Very unusual for May. It can happen on rare occasions, and in this case it is happening. For the rest of the Northeast, showers through at least Thursday. Finally, by Thursday night, you can see the low exits, and it actually redevelops again in the Atlantic. The rest of the country here, let's back this up a little bit. You can see showers continue in the West Coast. That upper level system is going to go back over the Pacific, and then it's going to try and regain some energy and come back down here to LA. So LA, you may have to deal with some showers later in the week as well. As you can see here across Texas, the NAM's not showing much in the way of convection on Thursday for Texas and Oklahoma. We'll have to watch and see how that plays out. And finally, at hour 84, less reliable range for the NAM. That's like the 200 hours of the GFS, if you're talking about accuracy. Look at this. Yes, very stormy in the Pacific Northwest. And I do want to today use the Canadian model. And you can see here, here's our system over the Great Lakes. Finally, it exits on Thursday. Maybe even some lingering showers Thursday night. You do have this system that tries to get going across the plains. Doesn't amount to much, and then it quickly tries to slide southeast. But look here, as we go into the weekend, the Pacific Northwest is going to see a wet weekend, and that pattern is going to persist for a long period of time. Finally, as we get into next week, that system ejects into the plains, and we'll have to see what becomes of this. There could be somewhat of a severe weather threat from Texas through the central plains through the middle of next week. Could be tornadoes, and definitely a hail threat if this does pan out. Again, it's far out in time, and we'll have to see how the energy behaves as it comes onshore in the Pacific Northwest, because as you know, if you're a weather hobbyist or enthusiast, you know energy that's out in the Pacific oftentimes gets poorly sampled just because the data out there just is terrible, and it significantly changes the models when it comes on shore. So we're going to be watching this throughout the week, and as of right now, this would be the next significant severe weather threat. I advance this further, you can see it would be a multi-day threat. And check this out. A ridge actually tries to get going in the east, which you'll see in the Climate Prediction Center. They're agreeing with us, but look at this. Yes, some sort of a convective system tries to form at the end of the Canadian, run over the Great Lakes, and then it would come into Pennsylvania. Again, this is Thursday of next week. This is the long range. So let's take a look at the 1 through 7 day precipitation outlook, and you can see that one system that does get going on Thursday does provide 1 to 2 inches of rain for portions of Iowa, portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, even down in here through Tennessee and Kentucky and Illinois. Iowa, you're on the northern fringe of this, but it's something you're going to have to watch and look up here in the northwest. Multiple inches of rain, 1 to 2 inches, maybe even localized 2 to 3 inches of rain. And check this out in West Virginia. That is from the northwest flow that's going to set up. There is going to be a high amount of precipitation there. So while you are expecting a few inches of snow, there's also going to be some rain as well. And you can see here, precipitation amounts, fairly generous, isolated 2 to 3 inches of precipitation because of land features allowing for the air to force up and work out any bit of moisture that is in the atmosphere. All right, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Above average temperatures in the plains, and eventually, yes, above average temperatures again as we head into the weekend and next week in the Northeast. The short term from today through about Thursday is looking below average. Below average temperatures in the West Coast. As we move to the 8 to 14 day, below average temperatures in the West Coast, above average temperatures in the East Coast. And let's take a look at precipitation, shall we? Above average in the Pacific Northwest. You saw the Canadian model. There's going to be a long duration, showery, wet period. Southeast, above average precipitation. Even in the plains, as you know, there is a severe weather threat. We're going to start watching for next week. Below average in the Four Corners region and below average in the Northeast, which is needed after this system that we just had. Parts of New Jersey had 5 to 7 inches of rain over this past week, and that's just unbelievable. Pacific Northwest, slightly above average in the 8 to 14 day. Southwest, below average, and above average in the southeastern states and in the south central states with near normal precipitation in the Northeast. Though we'll have to keep an eye on how this plays out, because if we have that ridge that sets up, we could get some disturbances that ride along that ridge, and that would turn this into slightly above average. And as you saw in the Canadian, there's even a potential that there could be some sort of a convective system at that point in time, and maybe even a backdoor cold front potential north of Pennsylvania from New York State on northward. And as you know, with backdoor cold fronts, when they're riding along the jet stream, they can often provide some precipitation. Alrighty, that does it for today's weather outlook. We'll have another one at some point later in the week as it warrants if things get more active. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great night.